My story doesn't start with a crime. It starts with a breakup. My name is Daniel McCaw, and before my pulse went silent, I lived with a woman who became a doorway into the afterlife. She was the mother of one of those boys. The boy who once ate dinner at my table. The boy who once lived under my roof. And then, in the end, it was the same boy who delivered the final betrayal. His mom and I weren't together anymore. We had a split, days before the boys crawled into my home in the early morning. They obsessed about the safe. They whispered about a treasure. They thought there was $1 million hiding in my home. There wasn't. $432.02. That was all. Now, I spend most of my time doing what I love most, hunting and fishing. But I'll take a break from it all, so you can hear the story from the one person they never expected to answer back. Me. It took 4 days before anyone realized I wasn't present. Co-workers grew uneasy, calls went unanswered, my body still in the laundry room. My mother would later tell everyone about my German shepherd, Saiga, to show that I was loved, that I mattered. Saiga laid beside me for 4 days, waiting, nudging me, trying to wake what couldn't wake. When deputies finally breached the house on September 1st, they said the air inside felt wrong, like time had been left to rot. They checked the cameras later, and they saw them. Those skinny young shapes slipping through the dog door in the early hours of August 28, 2022. The pair darted in and out of my home like scavengers, arms full, carrying away objects that never belonged to them. The camera caught me too. At first I was in the detached garage, but once I walked inside the house, I never walked back out. The next part of the story feels absurd, even from where I'm watching. The boy who used to live with me, Gabriel Davies, vanished. Or he pretended to vanish. He staged it, said he was the victim of a biker gang. He and the other boy, Justin Yoon, had been camping, slipped away from the cabin after midnight to commit the crime, returned near dawn, then left again. This is when Davies disappeared. He was on his way to football practice. They found his vehicle abandoned, keys in the ignition, personal things scattered, and cell phone screen glass shattered. 2 days later, they found Davies only a couple of miles from his own vehicle. No shirt, no shoes, just shorts. But his feet told the real story. Bare skin without wear. No lacerations, no dirt, no reality of running woods barefoot. He wasn't missing. He tried to write himself into the role of prey so no one would think to ask if he was actually the predator. Days later, both fathers of the boys called authorities. Yoon's father told authorities that he had information about a crime that involved Davies. Davies' father told authorities that his son was involved in a crime, but Yoon was the one who actually took my life. Davies' father said phantom biker friends of mine threatened his son, demanded he stole the mythical $1 million from my home, and insisted harm would come to him if he refused. He even claimed these phantom men smashed his face against his vehicle, said they rode him around, roughed him up, dumped him half-clothed in the dark. The detectives listened, wrote it down, then realized the whole story didn't make sense. No biker gang. No muscular shadows waiting to break bones. No leather-vested monsters lurking in parking lots. Eventually, the facade cracked. Both boys were taken into custody. They brought investigators to the old Olympia brewery, to the place where they had tossed the weapons they stole from my home. And the ammunition matched the silent splinters that stole my pulse. The price tag of their freedom was set. A wall of 7 digits. $1 million each. Well, they got their $1 million, just not in the way they expected. So, in the end, they didn't walk away. They faced a courtroom, shaking voices, parents with hollow eyes. They stood there at 17, no longer star athletes or honor roll kids, but Two boys who traded their futures for an empty treasure. 12 years. That's the sentence. 12 winters, 12 birthdays, 12 years for stealing my tomorrow. The boy who took credit said he was sorry for taking a son from a mother and father. The other one, the one who thought that he could outrun truth, said it didn't define him. But I can tell you from where I sit, from the cold side of existence. Of course, it defined them. The moment they slipped through my dog door, they stepped into a story they weren't prepared to carry, and I became their ghost, watching them through the bars that they built with their own hands. This was a true crime story where evil didn't arrive wearing a monster's face. If you want to explore more stories like this one, stay with us. Watch the next video, and remember, every story has two sides, but not everyone gets to tell theirs.